Welcome to the Songwriter Connection podcast, where we look at the craft of songwriting through the eyes of the songwriter. Each week, we make a connection with a music maker, listen to their songs, and hear their stories. From Nashville, Tennessee, here's your host, Dave Lenahan.
And I have to tell you that I've been looking forward to chatting with our guest today. I really have been, because we're going to talk a lot about my favorite things, country music and baseball. He's a professional baseball player, and he is also a country music performer and songwriter. And we're going to get to know Bryan Ruby. Welcome to the show, Bryan.
How's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Going really well. I like to start with a song, and I'd like to start with your first single, which came out, last summer, was it?
This past summer, yeah.
Yeah, and now it's got a baseball name, but it's not really about baseball.
It's about life. But you know, we had to throw in the baseball reference.
Of course you did. It's called Left Field. It's a great song. Let's give it a listen, and we'll talk about the writing of it on the other side.
Yes, that grind sail beat around old guitar. The Louisville slugger left in the schoolyard. It's that box of 45s at your cousin's house that you turned on, cranked up and wore them all out. It's waking up to snow on Christmas Day. The last pick kid with the winning play. It's that first real kiss in the dashboard light. Didn't see it coming, but it changed your life. Gotta be who you are and do what you can, but don't miss a living just making plans. Keep an eye on the horizon, you know the deal. All the best things come out of left field. Gonna play every honky-tonk, every dive bar. Just me and a dream and a little tip jar. I'll tune up and plug my microphone in. Sing from the heart when the record man walks on in. Sing from the heart when the record man walks on in. Gotta be who you are, do what you can, but don't miss a living just making plans. Keep an eye on the horizon, you know the deal. All the best things come out of left field. All the best things come out of left field. Just be who you are, do what you can. Don't miss a living just making plans. Keep an eye on the horizon, you know the deal. All the best things come out of left field. When you are who you are, do what you can. You learn from the losses and drink to the wins. Eye on the horizon, you know the deal. All the best things come out of left field. All the best things come out of left field. All the best things come out of left field. Yeah, yeah.
That is Bryan Ruby, our guest on the Songwriter Connection podcast today. Thank you for joining us on the pod. And if you're listening on YouTube, I know we put you up on YouTube too, like every Thursday or Friday of the week that we publish. Please like and subscribe. We do appreciate that. Hey, Bryan, good to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
What I love about country music is the truth, the honesty. Now, they say 3 chords in the truth. There's more than 3 chords in that song. But, I mean, you know, lines like, me, a dream, in a little tip jar.
Yep.
Oh, man, that's just like, boom.
Yeah.
That's just, and that's it. You're living the dream, aren't you?
Living the dream. Every day, baseball and country music. You know, if there's ever a song that summed me up as a person, left field, it's a good place to start. My first single as an artist, and
Awesome.
a good place to start.
Even though you play third base, right?
Yeah. I go to left field sometimes.
Do you go to left field?
Catch a pop-up.
Oh, there you go. That's right. You got to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I got a real important question for you.
Uh-huh.
When does spring training start? I'm ready.
Oh man, we got a couple months. Yeah, we're ready. We're in the quiet period right now, off season, but free agency. You never know who's going to sign. So
now you're from the Philadelphia area, so you had to love the World Series this year, except for the fact they lost, but they made it.
Yeah, I'm from about 45 minutes west of Philly, Montgomery County, and so I grew up as a Phillies fan. And
of course,
I was there in 2008 when they won the World Series. In 2009, lost the Yankees, and this year it was unexpected.
Yeah,
they made a run, which was pretty cool to watch.
I'm a big Cleveland Guardians fan, and it was a great year for them.
Yeah,
but I felt the same way. Like in 2016, they made it to the World Series, and I know the Cubs beat them, but I wasn't disappointed because they made it and they weren't expected to.
Yeah, unexpected. All the best things come out of left field.
All the best things, right? Let's talk about that song because it really is. That's so true. You co-wrote that, right? Mm-hmm. Tell me about that.
Wrote it with Chad Sellers, who's one of my good friends here and frequent co-writer, and Andrew Capra, who's a writer-producer here in Nashville, and those guys are awesome writers. It was a total group effort, and I was really happy with how it came out. I wasn't, they said, you're a baseball player, we should write a baseball song, and to me, that's okay. I just didn't want to be cliche, because a lot of things have been said before, and it would be cool if it was a baseball title, but it was really about life, and the song's not really about baseball, but it's
not. Yeah,
it's that's kind of my favorite kind of country music, is something that'll hit you a little bit unexpectedly and really connect.
Yeah, absolutely connect. Yeah, you connected. Yeah, absolutely. Good
nice baseball joke there. Yeah. Good launch angle, exit velocity.
Good launching. And Tyler, that's a good launch for you. That was your first single, right?
Yeah.
So, and now you've got an EP coming out just after it should be out soon.
Coming out in 2023. I'm rolling out. The thing to do now is you kind of roll out one at a time.
Yeah.
Just when I'm getting started. So we're building towards that first EP.
Good.
The title of it's going to be "Diamonds Are Forever," which is another sort of baseball reference.
Baseball. I love it.
But again, not really a baseball song.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So that's coming out here this year, and we're looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Now you've had other singles too, and we're going to talk about that. But I want to tell folks a little bit about you too. You're a great songwriter. I mean, you've had songs in the Texas country charts, top 50, and we've talked about the Texas charts. I mean, they're a whole nother country, and that's good. Congratulations. And iTunes country top 25. So you've had cuts out there, and now you're doing the artist thing as well, which a lot of songwriters do. Guys like Hardy,
Hardy, Chris Stapleton, Luke Bryan.
Yeah,
I mean,
these guys are all great songwriters first.
Yeah,
and I think that's important in country music today. I really do. I think the artists need to be songwriters, and the labels want them to be songwriters because they sign these 360 deals with a little bit of everything, even the publishing. So it makes sense for them to want their artists to write songs. But I think it makes the music overall more authentic.
Yeah.
So
I was listening to this this interview yesterday, and the guy, it was about songwriting advice, and the guy said, write 100 songs and then throw them out.
I've heard that too.
And I was like, man, I'm a lot beyond 100 songs right now. But it's true. The first, you got to kind of get used to doing it, and the first batch is never really great, but it gets better.
I've always heard that 100 songs. Yeah, write 100 songs and bring me the 100th.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back for that. Yeah, well, that's good advice. You got to keep writing, and you do keep a busy writing schedule.
Yeah, right. Pretty much anytime. I'm on the road a lot, but anytime I'm actually here in Nashville, I'm writing. Wrote a great song yesterday. I'm excited about. Maybe I'll release it later this year. Even when I'm on the road, I'll try to write on Zoom and Skype, and now it's actually how I've been able to keep it up with baseball.
Yeah,
we play at night, so that's 7:00. We got to get to the ballpark a couple hours earlier. Play during the day on weekends, but that gives me the morning to write. So if we're on the West Coast, like I was playing up in Oregon this past summer, we'll start a write here in Nashville at 10 a.m. So I'll get up at 8 and I'll get on Zoom with the guys and be able to kind of work towards both careers a little bit. I'm definitely winding down the baseball side, but that's okay. I'm 27 now. I've been super, super blessed to play this long. Most people hang them up after they're done high school at 18. And I've been able to, been so lucky. Never was the most talented ball player on the field. Even in Little League, there were guys that were better than me, but I just worked at it and kept practicing. And I was a Division III ball player in college, but I was able to sign a low-level pro contract and really just like work my way up every year, step by step, and 27 and still going.
Any comparisons to the music business?
I mean, a lot of failure. Yeah. Like baseball players think, oh, we got it tough. You fail 7 out of 10 times, you're hitting 300. Well,
that's Hall of Fame. Yeah,
and you're in the Hall of Fame or All Star or whatever. And in music, if you write 10 songs and 3 of them are hits, you're amazing. That's even true. Like Ashley Gorley, Shane McAnally can't do that. Like, it's more like 1 in 100 or more.
Seriously. Yeah.
Like it's a higher rate of failure, and it can get, but having the baseball background is good. Like, I've been in slumps before. I've worked my way out of it. Like it's sort of a similar thing with music.
You get in a slump when you're a writer. You do.
You get in a slump, a writing slump, or all of a sudden you're having trouble booking gigs, and you just got to persist and keep going.
You just keep on going. Eventually you break out.
Yeah.
Get that little single over the shortstop's head or something.
Yeah, a little blooper. And
little
then
Texas, flare. And boom, you're back on.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a good analogy.
As a songwriter, I guess as superstitious as baseball players are. Like I saw one interview with you. You've got long hair now, and you said you used to have the butch, but then like 4 years ago you started to let it grow.
Yeah, no, it was full buzz cut.
Was it full buzz cut?
Full like number 1 at Supercuts, level 1. Like I would just go in, they shaved the whole thing.
Right.
But then I was like, one year I was like, you know what? I'm going to get just a little bit of lettuce out the back of my ball cap.
It's cool out the back of the ball.
That'll look cool. That'll look really cool.
Mike Clevenger going there.
Yeah. And then I hit better, and I was like, I got to keep it going. So here we are, and it's like practically down to my waist.
Some guys don't change their socks,
Yeah.
But for you, it was the hair.
But I had a coach in 2000 and early 2021 in winter ball who was like, you don't look like a ball player. He's like a real old school guy. You gotta cut that hair. And I was like, all right, coach, but like, I don't know. I'm pretty superstitious, and I don't know. And then of course, but I listened. I was respectful. I cut about 6 inches off, which was a lot, and then I went into a slump, and I finished winter ball like on a 0 for 20 slump, and I was like, you know what? I'm keeping it. I gotta grow it out. And then after that, he was like, I understand. You gotta respect the streak.
You respect the streak.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You have to. It's a baseball thing.
Yep.
In 2021, you did the bravest thing. And I not to change gears here, but I think it's important to mention.
Yeah.
In 2021, you came out to your your teammates. As being gay. And it was a big decision, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, for me, it was, I guess, growing up being a ball player and a country music fan.
Yeah.
Like, I never really saw people like me in the mainstream in Major League Baseball or in country stars that were really out and proud.
Yeah.
And even though that's not really who I am in baseball, I'm not a big star. I'm not a big household name playing in the big leagues, making millions of dollars. I'm just a low level kind of journeyman pro guy.
But to make it that far, my friend, that's a good ball player.
I still felt like I never really had a hero as a kid. I never had somebody who I could look up to and say, that guy's like me.
Yeah.
I'm playing on TV, playing baseball or whatever. And I've kind of just been living my life. My friends and family are totally cool. I've told them years ago, like 5 years before I came out publicly. And I kind of just said, I want to do this, to be able to show that, you can play baseball, you can write country music. I think probably baseball is a little bit of a tougher environment for that than country music, but
you think so? Yeah,
I still think so. I mean, it's like they say, if you can see it, you can be it.
Right.
And we're still. I mean, since I came out last year, I think we've had like 6 guys who have. So it's getting to be more and more, and I'm all about that. The more the merrier. There's 16 million people that play baseball, so clearly a lot of them are in the community, and like if we can inspire younger athletes to just live their lives, not have to worry about stuff. The thing that I'm most proud of is after coming out is to be able to continue playing baseball.
Yeah.
And to started like a nonprofit charity organization called Proud to Be in Baseball.
I heard you say once you saw yourself as an accidental activist.
Yeah, like I've never really been very.
But it's great work that you do. I mean, talk about that.
Yeah, it's. I've never been very like. Never considered myself an activist. Like, I've never been very politically motivated or anything. I'm just a baseball player.
Well, it's noticed on your guitar, you've got the Dolly for President. I loved it.
I picked that up over at a music store the other day. That was
I got to get me one.
Yeah, there's like, I'll take one of those. Yeah. But I mean, the nonprofit supports younger athletes. Yeah. So LGBT athletes, you know, who, and we don't want any kid to feel like they're all alone. You know, I don't want to get too dark on this, but like, you know, I saw a stat the other day, 45% of LGBT kids consider committing suicide. Like, that's terrible. You know, we don't want any young kid to feel all alone. Like, they're even the athletes, like, you know, we go around, we do events at schools, colleges, different Pride nights. We did Nashville Sounds Pride Night. We went all over the country.
You did. You traveled. You did a lot of different stadiums. And were you sang the national anthem? And
yeah. It was a nice little crossover, nice little baseball country moment.
And I even heard you do a little play-by-play. Get on there with some of the MLB announcers.
I was a little nervous.
Yeah, I bet.
One of those guys was a Hall of Famer. But Jim Palmer with the Orioles.
Yeah.
And you know, they were asking me about stuff. And I was like, I don't know,
like
man.
Dream.
Just like
living the dream.
Yeah. But I do as much of that stuff as I can, just to be able to show like
so good
those younger versions of myself. Like, you can play ball, you can just live your life. And I mean, it's been our charity's a super positive thing. Like, we have a lot of people reaching out to us and saying thank you. And it was pretty much the thing that I didn't have as a kid, like our group, that I could have used the most, like a support group, you know, to be able to find a network of friends and stuff in the sport. And that was, so it's like really satisfying. Probably the things that I'm most proud of after coming out in baseball is, one, keeping my job, and two is being able to create this thing that'll help other people, hopefully long after I'm done with baseball. You know, I'm definitely moving towards music, but
now, if people want to find out more about it, it's called
Proud to Be in Baseball. .org.
Yeah.
Or on social media.
Check it out. It's great work that you do.
Thank you.
And there were you had a documentary team following you around, right?
Yeah.
Talking about this, and
we're still going.
Oh, you're still going?
I mean, we're going to be at some film festivals later this year.
Great.
And then hopefully get it onto a streaming service so that people can see it. Again,
very good.
Similar thing with, it's actually a similar message of what I'm doing with the charity, and then what I did with the doc, and then what I'm doing with my music is just to kind of like the charity's the thing I never had as a kid that could have helped me the most. The film is the thing I never, if I would have been able to watch it as a kid, as a young athlete, you know, and see somebody like me kind of going through all this stuff, it would have helped me the most. And then with country music, like sort of the inclusive message of Left Field and the standouts and some of the other songs is to be able to see somebody like me singing the songs, singing real country music, you know, would have inspired me as a kid. So it's a nice little motivating message.
You know, Mary Goucher, who's a fantastic songwriter and artist, she's got a book out these days, and she talked about the same thing, not having a hero like that when she was growing up.
Yeah.
And finally meeting one. And her book's very inspiring. I don't know if you've ever read that. I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, I will read it.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I have a musical hero.
Who's that?
Shane McAnally.
Shane, yeah.
So I was always a country music fan growing up, worked for a country radio station, and in high school, and in college, I still didn't know what a songwriter was. Christian Bush from Sugarland came into our station.
How about that?
And he talked about being a songwriter. And I was like, wait a second. Like the light bulb went off in my head.
Yeah.
Like, I love country music. I play music. I didn't actually know that there were real life people in Nashville. Maybe this sounds stupid to say this.
No, a lot of people felt that way.
Yeah, but I thought, the artist must just write the song. I never considered it, and then there are actually people who just write songs, and I was like, I want to do that. And I saw an article about Shane McAnally called, I think it was called Out and Riding High in Nashville, and I kind of taped it right in front of my desk.
Did you?
And just would look at it every once in a while and just say, like, okay, that guy's like me. He's doing well. He writes good country songs.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
A lot of big hits. And if you don't know, Google him. You'll be surprised.
And I was like, I can do this. You know, so that was always, music has always been baseball's been the thing that's has a lot of pressure. I come from a family of 5 athletes. Mm-hmm. We're all good athletes. You know,
Dad played ball too, right?
Dad was a pitcher. My brother, shortstop.
Virginia, right?
Yeah, my little sister won a national championship in soccer in college. And my mom is a NCAA Division I record holder and almost an Olympian. Wow! So I mean, there was always pressure around that. But music was always my thing.
Your thing.
So I've always been able to bring my guitar on road trips, like we're on the team bus in baseball, and just play after a game. If I have a bad game, go for 3, like we were talking about earlier.
Were you the guy in the bus, like in Bull Durham? Remember,
like Nuke Lelouch? Yeah, but I get the words right sometimes.
Woolens get woolly.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's play another song, and I just can't wait to hear you tell the story about this next song, because it was a very special song, and I'm talking about the Standouts. Mm-hmm. You wrote it for your grandpa.
Yeah. So my grandpa Harvey,
you call him Pop.
We call him Pops.
Right, Pops. Okay,
yeah.
I love
Pops
that.
is in his 80s. You know, he's a veteran. We were just talking about how I have his old record player. He was stationed over in Germany, West Germany, in the 60s. Wow. Gave me his old record player from over there. But he's a kind of a everyday hero, still kicking. You know, he started up a small business. He's a standout. Nobody's ever really done anything for him. Never been on the news. Never been, you know. But he's just somebody like in my life who's very important to me, and who is a hero of mine. And I kind of wrote this song thinking about him, thinking about my little sister who's a middle school math teacher. You know, nobody's ever really done anything for her either. And I was thinking about them, and this song came out, and I decided to put it out. It's called The Standouts.
The Standouts, okay.
All right.
Bryan Ruby, our guest.
All right.
On the podcast.
It's the wounded vet who can't turn off the noise, the unsung teacher who does nothing but give. It's the kid sitting alone at lunch who's kind to everyone, even when the world ain't kind to him. The I have a dreamers with the nerve to say we're equal, the hell-bent believers, life-changing kind of people. Here's to the standouts, the picked on and the pushed down. We are who we are, and we have the heart to stick out from the crowd. The way we're living might make us different, but if no one stood up, where would we be now? Here's to the standouts. We keep on loving through the hate, ain't looking for a fight, but if that's what it takes, we don't win them all, but come on. Oh, we'll live to fight another day. Here's to the standouts, the picked on and the pushed down. We are who we are, and we have the heart. Stick out from the crowd. The way we're living might make us different, but if no one stood up, where would we be now? Here's to the standouts. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Here's to the standouts, yeah. The runs of the litter, the glass half full drinkers, the don't quite fit inners, the freedom song singers. Here's to the standouts, the picked on and the pushed down. We are who we are, and we have the heart to stick out from the crowd. How we're living might make us different, but if no one stood up,
where would we be now? Here's to the standouts. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Here's to the standouts, yeah. Here's to the standouts.
Yep, where would we be if nobody stood up? Yeah. Here's to the standouts. Great song.
Thank you.
Who'd you write that with? Tell us about that.
I wrote that one also with Chad Sellers and with Anthony Fiddler.
Yeah?
Great
Fiddler, what a great name.
Yeah, that's his real name, too.
Real name.
Canadian country music producer and guitarist, and he's a great musician, too. So
Who produces you?
Smith Curry. So
okay.
we do sessions here on Music Row. I'm actually going into another session this Friday for a song that I'm going to put out in maybe late February, early March. But so I'm excited about that.
The next single, huh?
Probably the next one. I just put out a Christmas song to kind of wrap up the year,
right.
And building towards one. I'm not going to play it yet, but maybe I'll come back later and play it when it's out.
Please do.
Yeah,
you are more than welcome to
Smith
do that.
Curry, awesome producer. You know, he's a Music Row. He's an A-team kind of guy. Does sessions all the time. I've been working with him. A lot of the songs that I've written for other artists, he produces, so it's kind of a natural connection to go in with him and start working with him. Oftentimes, before I was an artist myself, I would be the guy who sang the demo.
Yeah.
So
demo singer.
Yeah,
you do have a great voice.
Thank you.
And you went to school for voice and music, right? College.
Partially, yeah.
Partially?
I started out down in Georgia, and I ended up transferring. I was the only country singer at my school who got a vocal scholarship, and I came in. Everybody was singing like these opera pieces and then la la la, you know. And I would come in like boots and jeans, like I'm wearing today, and like I kind of got some weird looks, but luckily the woman who was judging for the scholarship that day was originally from Georgia, so she liked country music, and she took it easy on me. She slid me into the program, and
she saw something in you, didn't she?
But
great.
Yeah, it's I've been here in Nashville for 3 years, and
were you traveling back and forth a lot, or?
I traveled in a few years for maybe 2 years before I officially moved here. So I guess it's been about 5, but really 3 here on the ground. And I'm still.
What do you think so far? You like Nashville?
It's my adopted home. I mean,
awesome.
it's where I felt. I came in college. We came somebody knew somebody at Vanderbilt, and we crashed on the floor of their dorm. And we went out. We went to Broadway, did all the touristy stuff. Saw the Opry. Came back with my family. Went to the Opry, and the whole time I was like, "This is where I need to be."
Yeah,
and
it does have that draw, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the fact that I'm 3 years in, still and just starting to be an artist, been a writer, but it was a demo singer, and now currently making my own stuff and working with such a talented team of session musicians and my producer. Like the day that we cut Left Field and Two for the Road, the standouts of my whole first EP, we were in the studio over at Pentaveret in Berry Hill here in Nashville, and I was just talking to the session guys. Like, we had Justin Ostrander on guitar, played with Luke Bryan, Jimmy Allen, Cody Johnson, like some real kick-ass country people, and Tim Marks on bass, great bass player currently with Jewel, and Nick Buda on drums. And I was talking to Nick the day great guys.
Yeah.
The day we cut the record, and it was like 9:30 in the morning on a Saturday.
Oh boy!
And I was like, "What are you doing later tonight?" And he's like, "Oh, I got a gig." And I was like, "Where?" He said, "Nissan." And I was like, "Nissan Stadium?" Like in front of 60,000 people. And he's like, "Yeah, who are you playing for?" And he said, "Kenny." And I was like, "Oh,
Kenny Chesney."
He's Kenny Chesney's like live band drummer, and the fact that I was like, "Cool, man! Like, thank you for being here. Like, in 12 hours, you have literally the biggest gig in town, and you're in the morning. You didn't have to come over to the studio and like make my record. It was just
you never know who you're talking to in this town.
Yeah,
you never know.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
The fact that those guys would are invested in making me sound good, and like I said, I'm just getting started and really just trying to find my sound and figure out what I want to say. It's one thing to write for other artists.
It's part of the journey, though, right?
Yeah, I think it's ever evolving.
It is.
Like what we want to say and
never ends. Yeah.
As artists, but the fact that they would work with a relatively new guy like me was cool, and I'm very thankful for that.
That's what I love about this town. Treat you with open arms, and you have that musical connection, and sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah,
and that and being a good hang.
Yeah, just being able to hang out was a big part, and with the writing too. Like half the time it's just hanging out.
You talk about all those great A-list musicians, and I also was looking at some of the guys that played on yours. One of the background vocalists I know, Mark Lonsway. Mark is a great guy.
He mixed it as well.
Did he mix it too?
And he's mixing some of the music for the documentary that I'm doing too.
Is he really? He's great at what he does.
Recruited him to do that. Because he's great.
He is. He's
great.
One of the nicest guys you ever want to meet. So,
and we work out of that studio that used to be Benchmark. Currently, I think Sandtrack Studios, because it has. I think they built it like that. I don't know if this is right. In the 80s was what I was told. So you can see that the way that they isolated the sound was they actually filled the walls with sand.
Wow.
So there's parts where the walls are like leaking out, and you could see
the sand?
Tiny little piles of sand. I was like, why is there sand in here? It's like, that's how they isolate it. And it's a great sound. I mean, in the studio. But,
wow.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Mark's great.
Yeah. What a journey, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how about another song? Oh, you know what? We got to take a break. But when we come back,
all right,
I want to hear another one of your singles. If that'd be all right. Okay.
Perfect.
We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Songwriter Connection, connecting with music makers and hearing their songs and stories. Now back to the show with your host, Dave Linehan.
We've got Bryan Ruby with us, and we're talking a little baseball, a little country music, a lot of songwriting. That's what we're doing. By the way, speaking of baseball, you're on the committee that's going to bring us an MLB team to Nashville.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
I once told my wife, we were such big baseball fans. We lived in Cincinnati for 25 years. I grew up in Cleveland. So we'd go to a lot of Indians and a lot of Reds games. I know you don't like to hear you being a Phillies fan, but
no, it's okay.
Rose did play for the Phillies for a while. But anyway, I always told her, I said, I don't think I could ever live in a town that didn't have a Major League Baseball team.
Here we are in Nashville.
And here we are in Nashville. Like 10 years ago, we were thinking about moving here. She goes, yeah, but they don't have Major League Baseball. I go, yeah, no, but they
will.
They got the
I'll tell you what, they will.
They're gonna.
There's a great group called the Nashville Stars, which is an ode to the old Negro League
teams. Yeah.
And so a great ownership group. They're trying really hard to bring a Major League Baseball team here to Music City. I mean, I think they're probably a couple years away. I don't know what the deal is, whether it would be an expansion team or a relocated team, a current franchise. I know there's some big league teams that want to relate, but Nashville's a great city.
It is. We love our sports
here.
We
got the Preds, we got the Titans. I mean, we're
Sounds.
Yeah, passionate group. So I really think it would do well. And I'm on their list of community advisors. So
awesome.
I've got to do a couple different events with them, and they're a great group, and I think it's going to happen. I think there's momentum. Like they're building interest and engagement in the city, and I think it'll be fun.
And there are a lot of big names behind this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Too, Yeah. Country stars, entertainment people. I mean, everybody.
Dave Stewart.
Dave. I've met him twice.
Have you?
He's a super nice guy. I think he's a smart baseball mind. Experienced, and he can pull it off.
He can pull it off.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake, I think I saw.
Not a baseball guy, but I've heard of him too.
But you heard of him. So we're hoping this happens.
Haven't met him. Maybe one day.
Let's talk about this next song I want you to do. We've got the dining room table is kind of the star of our show here. This old Duncan Fife, and we get amazing sound in this room. So would you play us another song?
Yeah. So this song, it's kind of the story of my life.
Awesome.
It's going to be featured in the upcoming documentary that we're doing.
Great.
It's called Journeyman. I'm a motorcycle winding down the PCH, a left fielder filling in at third base, a cover band front man singing Sweet Caroline in a Beantown bar.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a part-time all-cash truck bed hauler, Kansas City barbecue scholar. If you need me there, tell me where. It probably ain't too far. No, it ain't too far. I'm a journeyman.
I get there when I get there, and I'm learning that flying blind's a good way to get where I can see just who the hell I am. I'm in all about the journey, all about the journey, man.
Love it.
Let's take it up a little bit. It's a dusty ball field in Guatemala, Greyhound stop out in Nevada, rain delays, airplane trays, I wonder what these miles are worth. Colorado highs and Memphis blues, back on the horse, win or lose, South Philly night under the lights, nothing like home turf. I'm a journeyman, I get there when I get there, and I'm learning that flying blind's a good way to get where I can see just who the hell I am. I'm in all about the journey, all about the journey, man. Oh, I'm in all about the journey, all about the journey, man. Yeah. This year I missed our anniversary. God bless the patient hearts that put up with guys like me. 'Cause I'm a journeyman. I get there when I get there, and I'm learning that flying blind's a good way to get where I can see just who the hell I am. I grab my bag, not knowing where these beat-up boots are gonna land. Living by the seat of just 2 pair of pants, dirt on my hands. I'm in all about the journey, all about the journey, man. I'm in all about the journey, all about the journey, man. Yeah. Journeyman.
Well, it's Bryan Ruby. I'm all about the journey, man.
Yeah.
I love it. I think a lot of people can identify with that song.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I've been looking forward to playing that one here. It's not a. It's an unreleased single, but it will be. It will be out. And I wanted to. This is a songwriter podcast, so I was like, this is a songwriter type song.
It is.
And it's really. All about the journey. You never know. Like, I think there's a kind of a common theme that runs through some of my stuff, like, and sort of unintentional, but I've been thinking about it more and more, like with left field, all the best things come out of left field. It's all about the journey. Like, it's sort of like you kind of just gotta follow what you're passionate about and just go for it, and you don't know where it's gonna lead, but that's the beauty of it, and that's the excitement of it. Moving here, we can, I'm sure you can relate, moving to Nashville, moving to a new place, a new city, and it's this big place called Music City. That's where all the country stars go to hang out, and you don't know if you're going to come back with your tail between your legs, like Garth did before before he came back, or what. And you just gotta follow what you're passionate about and just do it. And that's
like you attended one of my lectures.
Yeah.
I was actually the director of a broadcast school.
Yeah.
I used to always tell my students, you follow that passion, find out what that is. If you don't know what that is yet, find it, discover that, and then follow that.
Country radio, man. It's the dream one day. It's sort of where I started and where I want to end up.
Tell me about that experience.
So I was, our local country radio station back home, 92.5 XTU.
Big station.
I listened to it growing up. Big station.
Yeah.
They have a huge listener base, and they do all kinds of promo events. So I was aware of who they were. And when I was 18 and senior year in high school, I cold called them. Cold called the station and just asked if I could, said I wanted a job, asked if I could come in for an interview, and I got hired to be an intern, didn't do anything important. I've swept the promo closet, cleaned up all the stuff, and people were sending, back then I don't know if people still do this, sending CDs in.
Oh, yeah.
So we get all these CDs from all kinds of people.
Right.
And, so doing different promo events. One time we had this concert, 30th anniversary of the station concert, in at what was at the time Susquehanna Bank Center in New Jersey.
Wow.
And they had Dierks Bentley headlining, they had Randy Houser.
Oh, yeah.
And
Great guy.
I almost got fired. We were working all day.
Well, you haven't been in radio unless you get fired.
Unless you're right. It's a rite of passage.
What happened?
So it was hot. It was the middle of summer. We've been working all day. I had to get to the station at like 5 in the morning, get to the venue at 7 in the morning, hanging up posters and walking around in the heat. I haven't had anything to eat, anything to drink, and I'm about to like pass out.
Oh, jeez.
And I just feel like a waft of cold air coming from like a room. And I just, my body was just naturally drawn to it. And I just walked over there and just like had to take a minute and just rest. And my boss comes storming in. That one of the promo people comes storming in, like, you get out of there. This is Randy Houser's dressing room. What are you doing? Are you trying to talk to him? And I said, what are you trying to? And I was just trying to get in the cold air.
I was trying to keep cool.
I didn't even realize it was his dressing room. And
oh my goodness.
I could fire you for this. I was like, I'm so sorry, but
I didn't know.
And I almost got, but that's a.
And
luckily,
you know
I got
what?
to keep the job.
Having met Randy a few times, I don't think he would have.
He wouldn't
have
cared.
He was a cool guy.
Yeah, but as an 18-year-old kid, I was traumatized. I was like, oh my God, I messed up. This was my chance to work in country music, and I messed up. And no, but the station people are totally cool. And I still listen. Like I was back home in Pennsylvania for Thanksgiving, for the holidays. Would listen to country radio back there. Always turned on the station the minute I get home. And it's my dream to kind of one day get one of my songs on there.
Oh, well, I hope that happens.
Yeah.
I really do. Now, you've had a few cuts out there, and describe the feeling when you first found out that one of your songs is being cut by an artist, and that's a big feeling, that first cut.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I can play my first cut for you if
can?
you want.
Yeah. Tell us about
it's,
it.
An artist in West Texas, San Angelo, Texas, by the name of Neil Cooper, Texas country artist. But, we move here with the dream of being songwriters and getting a real life country music artist to sing our songs. And like, that's the dream. And, it was the coolest feeling to find out that he was cutting it. I had felt connected to the industry because I had a few songs that I had been the demo singer for that people had recorded, but never one that I had written. So that was like another step up for me. And I think he released it during the pandemic. It was in 2020, so it was really, really. I was at a low point. I had lost my baseball contract for that season. All the minor leagues got canceled. Yeah. And a lot of independent leagues too. And really the major leagues only played a very short schedule. So
with fake fans.
Yeah. And I was,
that was terrible.
I was here in Nashville, and I had, hadn't really arranged to be living here during the spring and summer because of baseball.
Right.
So I kind of moved back in the house with like 5 guys. It was like a frat house. It was dirty and pizza boxes on the ground. Everything smelled, and sleeping on a futon, and like no job, waiting for baseball to start, and writing songs, but couldn't see anybody, writing on Zoom and stuff, and running out of money, and like, then I got this news that I was going to get my first cut, and even though he's an independent artist, and it was a real beacon of light. Like at the end of the tunnel,
it's validation.
Okay, this guy's gonna record my song, and then maybe I can get a couple more in Texas. That's a great Texas country is respected by people in Nashville, and
big,
great place to like start. Even though I'm not from Texas, but I love Texas country, and I can write it. And here we are. I think that was like maybe 2 years ago when the first one was released in late 2020, and I've got about 20 cuts from different artists.
Mostly Texas, or
a couple in Texas, a couple here in Nashville. Actually, a couple pop songs. There's a pop singer.
Nice.
She's current Miss Boston, so she's a pageant competitor as well. She puts out pop music, and I've been able to write a lot of her stuff. So it's like, when you put your writer hat on and you got to do different projects for different people, you gotta like see yourself in their shoes, and it's a little hard to see myself in being a beauty pageant in Massachusetts, but I just try to think about like good storytelling and how I can help when I'm in the room writing for somebody else, how I can help that artist tell the best version of their story.
That's great. So you like to write with other artists?
Yeah.
Is that the trick? Because that's the songwriter question in me. A lot of songwriters, up and coming songwriters listening to this podcast want to know, how do you pitch the songs? How do you get them to the artists that cut them?
Outside cuts are really hard, especially these days. A lot of artists like want to be writers themselves. Want to be in the room. So I've had, out of the 20 or so, maybe 2 or 3 outside cuts. Really not a lot.
Still.
But most of them have been like in the room with the artist. So
same with me.
And if you're, I guess if you're just moving here, like, you know, the thing that I did the first year that I moved here was I was out like every single night.
Playing the writers' rounds and things?
Playing rounds, just not even playing, sometimes just going.
Making the contacts,
hanging
the connections.
Out. Really
networking, right?
Yeah, hanging out, meeting different people. And
that's why we call this the connection, the songwriter connection.
Yeah, exactly. And those people that I met, you know, out at the bars here in Midtown and stuff, or out at Red Door and Whiskey Jam and Tin Roof and all the places at Live Oak, those are the people that I still work with today. And I don't go out as much. I'm still out and about, but not every single night. That was a lot to burn it down like that. But especially now because I'm on the road a lot, you know, with playing gigs and stuff. But when I'm here, I'm going out, still trying to meet people, always networking, trying to find other people to write for. And I joined NSAI when I moved here. It was a great first step for me, and started going to their meetings, their weekly stuff, and meeting people there. And
they changed my life.
It's all.
Yeah, that's a good group.
And I'm still don't have a publishing deal. Like I'm still an independent artist, so I'm still very much, I think, at the beginning. But I want to build.
And that's not a bad thing. And it really isn't. It really isn't. We had Cherie Spoltori on the show not too long ago from Global Songwriter Connection, and she talked a lot about that. Yeah, you know.
Well, I think it's just like baseball. Like, you know, I wouldn't have been ready as an 18-year-old kid. I didn't get signed out of high school. Certain kids get drafted and they get millions of dollars straight out of high school. Yeah. Like, I was not that. I had to work at it. I had to build, you know, practice for years and years until finally I was 23, redshirt senior, where I got a spot somewhere, you know, and worked my way up from there. And so I kind of recognized that, you know, if you want to be in like the big leagues, in a major with a major publisher, writing with Ashley Gorley or Shane McAnally or Josh Osborne, one of these big name guys, you got to be ready, you know. So like I think a lot of people here are so trying to get a meeting with the publisher tomorrow and get signed tomorrow, and they're not going to make it unless they get signed right away, and it's all this big rush. And like,
I know people like that.
Yeah, I mean,
how about sharpening those talents and those skills first? Yeah,
I want to be like, you know, you may only got one shot with a publisher or with a label. Like when you
best be ready, right?
I know, like one day I'm going to walk in. I'm working my way towards it. I'm going to be there one day. I'm not there yet, but when I get there, I'm going to be ready.
You visualize
it. You gotta, like, when you get that pinch hit at bat, like, and you know, and you don't have a starting spot in the lineup, and you got to work your way in. You got to be ready. Like, you got to be.
And everything you do along that journey, along the way, is sharpening. Getting you ready for that.
Sharpening and figuring out what you want to say. Like, there's so many different artists in this town. You got to do something that's unique to you. You know, figure out some way to be original, that's true to yourself, and so my whole first EP is really just trying to shape that and figuring out how I want to sound. And you know, I've been influenced by all these different people, everything from Eric Church to early Tim McGraw, Kenny Chesney, Springsteen, Mellencamp, AC/DC, Queen, Aerosmith. Like this, so like who I am is, I guess, a combination of a combination of all those people, but not
I
really
love that.
similar to any one of them.
Yeah.
And influenced by them. We're all influenced by people and figuring out.
I hear
what
little
wanna
Zach
say.
Brown. I hear little James Taylor as well.
Yeah, I like James Taylor. Yeah. Zach Brown. Yeah, I mean,
But all these things combined, you study, you look, and you a little bit here, a little bit there, and they all become you, and you find your own unique voice, and that's really cool.
you find your thing and then you run with it.
And you run with it, and your songs, the ones that I've heard, they do have that element of truth, that genuineness, which you can't fake.
It's got to be.
It's got to be.
I mean, I tried to write. Sometimes I'll try to write stuff that's not in my own voice, and but it really is. You got to write from the heart.
I think so.
Otherwise, it's not going to work out, and it's not going to be. Even if it does work out, it's not going to be enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like if you're faking something, it's not going to be fun.
Yeah.
Like you're going to be keeping up an act. So like this is like all the stuff you hear. That's me.
That's you.
Like, and I just was looking over my Spotify Wrapped, like I actually have them all saved from previous years, and I'm just kind of like been looking at what I've listened to, and like what I've listened to is how I sound pretty much. Like I'm truly like growing up and listening to country radio and being, especially with baseball. Country music is like the music of baseball. Always on at the ball field. We play all over the place, so it's always on and on the bus and stuff. So it really is a nice little, transitioning, me being able to do baseball country. Yeah. It's a nice little transition.
There's your genre.
Yeah.
I love guys that create their own genre. We've said this on the podcast. Your baseball country.
Yeah.
There you go. There's the name of this podcast.
Yeah.
Listen, take us out with this song, 2 for the Road, if you don't mind, because that's another single of yours coming out on this EP very, very soon. And I'll tell you what, you can follow Bryan Ruby on, what's your webpage?
BryanRubyMusic.com. Bryan with a Y, Ruby with a Y. Bryan Ruby Official on social media.
There you go. Check him out. Follow him. And be looking for this new CD coming out real soon called Diamonds.
Diamonds Are Forever.
Forever. This is 2 for the Road?
2 for the Road.
All right.
We had one for your birthday, one when he broke your heart, one where we talked about being more than friends, making a brand new start. We've been dancing around it and drinking about it. You're the only thing in this town that makes me wanna stay. So what you think about running away? Let's be 2 for the road. Let's get up and go. If you don't hit the gas, you ain't never gonna know. Could be some real good years, or we could go up in smoke. One way to find out. Let's be 2 for the road. Are you feeling Cheyenne or the Bonneville Salt Flats? Or are you thinking some sunshine, maybe hitting that white Gulf sand? 38 or PCH, baby, just point the way. Let's be 2 for the road. Let's get up and go. If you don't hit the gas, you ain't never gonna know. Could be some real good years, or we could go up in smoke. One way to find out. Let's be 2 for the road. This is where the solo goes, baby. I wish I had the band with me. Maybe I could be yours and you could be mine. We done a lot of talking, but ain't it just about time to be 2 for the road? Get up and go, don't hit the gas, ain't never gonna know. Could be some real good years, or we could go up in smoke. Up in smoke. Let's be 2 for the road. Let's get up and go. If you don't hit the gas, you ain't never gonna know. Could be some real good years, or we could go up in smoke. One way to find out. Let's be 2 for the road. Whoa, whoa, let's be 2 for the road. Whoa, 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 whoa. be two for the road.
Bryan Ruby, our guest on the Songwriter Connection podcast. Bryan, so good to make a connection to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for taking the time to be here. I know you're very busy, and we look forward to having you back.
Absolutely.
Once that new stuff comes out, all right?
All right, deal.
Maybe bring the band with you. We can set up. We've done bands in
Hell
here.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Little band in the kitchen. I'm down anytime.
All right, man. Good to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Songwriter Connection podcast. Find us on social media at Songwriter Connection. Also, listen to Dave Lanahan's Nashville Connections radio show. It streams live every Friday morning on WOBL and WNOI. Look for us on Facebook and YouTube. See you next time on Songwriter Connection.